Hi, I'm going to exactly reproduce the error, so I have two virtual machines already installed. The method that I described in the previous video, where there was no option to ping between virtual machines and host. So let's switch to the CLI, please. Okay, terminal, and I'm going to switch to root. And first of all, what we need to do, I will use tmax. It will be much more convenient this way. And Control B %. And okay, so first of all, vir list. Right, we have two machines that are currently running, so vir console. Right, vir console Debian Direct 1. And let's say it will be Debian Direct 2. It will be vir console Debian Direct 1. Go. And I'm logged in. And now we will make a simple comparison, IPA, IPR, IPA, and IPR. And you can see that IPR, the routing table goes through the MikroTik router. That is my DHCP, so this is my gateway. So ping -c for, I'm in the 110.10.0.1. And you can see it is running 0.1. Here we go. And what next? We want to ping each other. I have a 113 and 114. So I'm going to ping 113. And you can see that there is no option 114 here. And my host is 115. So if I will try to ping from host to from the virtual machines to my host, you can see there is no option to ping the machine. So control square bracket, the right square bracket. So I'm going back to the machine and I will ping also ping C1 10.10.0.113 and 114. And you can see there is no option to ping those two machines. So I'm going, sorry, that's my fault, vir console Debian Direct 2. Once again. Here we go. And what can we do? We can disable it first. The first method, of course, if you're inside the system, if you're inside the machine, so power off, we go and Control B. In this way, I will in and I will use just vir. If you are in host, just shut down the Debian Direct 2. And we go vir list, and there should be no running machine, and we can have this here. So what we need to do now, we need to edit the configuration. So vir edit the Debian Direct 1, and here we go. If we scroll down to this interface section, you can see there is interface type direct, and there is an option to change it. Okay. We want this to have a network address translation, and we want that QEMU guest, our virtual machine interface, to be able to connect to a bridge. So we need to change the interface from direct to the bridge. It seems obvious, okay? Bridge. The next option is to delete the MAC address, or you can leave it as it is. We need to change it to something called bridge. So it will be, because we need a bridge, source will be bridge. And then we are just deleting this mode VPA, okay, go, model virtual, and here we go. That is correct. You need to add, and I will make this way. So you are going to change this way. When you are using an Open vSwitch bridge, it is required to not only specify the bridge by name, as we did already here, by using this interface name, not only using the source bridge, but we need to also specify the identify of obvious bridge using its UID in this section parameters interface, right? What you need to do exactly, you should have something like this inside. I'm going to explain this. Inside this. And insert. Something like this. Parameters interface ID obvious bridge UID. I do not recommend to add it manually. Add this way, or eventually, if you don't want to do this way, you can delete this and add / here, and it should also work, I hope. And after that, when you will do this, it will work. Why? You actually need to specify this virtual port type, just because it needed. The problem is that without this, you will not be able to make it work. Just because the MAC address, of course, it's not something that is important, but the virtual port type Open vSwitch, it tells that exactly you're using an Open vSwitch bridge. You will actually forward the traffic and use the network address translation to the virtual bridge, which is actually an Open vSwitch bridge, right? And that is why you need to provide this information about virtual port, because only this way you will be able to make it work in both directions, right? And thanks this virtual daemon, the lib virtual daemon will know about this, that this is an Open vSwitch bridge. It's an Open vSwitch virtual port, so it will allow you to make it work. Okay, so MAC address, actually you can delete it if you will run the machine once again. It will be added here by the lib virtual daemon. So let's do this, and we will do the same for the Debian Direct 2. So let's go here, page down, and here we have our interface. Here we go, and interface type. So it will be bridge, right? Then source def will be bridge instead of device, right? Source bridge equals brx. This one, we need to delete this, and here we need to add a virtual port type Open vSwitch, just like that. What we can do actually additionally, and I'm going to explain this in a moment, we can also add something below this. It's called driver name vhost. I'm going to explain this. Actually, this is for better performance, throughput, and latency. It is recommended that KVM guests use the newer vHostNet driver rather than the older para-virtualized VirtuNet driver by specifying the keyword driver name vhost in this guest's libvirt configuration file. So vHostNet uses an in-kernel guest networking performance enhancement that moves network packets between the guest and the host system using the Linux kernel rather than QEMU. And this avoids context switches from kernel to user space to improve overall performance. So we will do this, and we will also add the same for the direct one. 1, 2, and here we go, and here after the model driver name vhost. Okay, so both are changed. Now what we need to do, we need to start them. So once again, tmx and wir start Debian direct2 console, and wir start Debian direct1 console. Root. Here we go. IPA and IPR. Root. Here we go. Clear IPA and IPR. And now once again, ping. Let me check this. And to 115, and you can see it's working. However, if you want to see more, you can see it's working, right? So we are pinging the host now. Go for, and it is working as expected. We have 114, 113. So we are going to ping 113 now. And you can see it's working correctly. Control B, and here 114. And here we go. And if we will do this, and I'm going to switch, and we'll try to ping 113. Of course, it's working. 1.4 more. Let's see, it's working. And if we do the 114, it will work also. So thanks to this, we were able to fix the problem with the configuration of the virtual machine by editing the XML configuration file of the virtual machines using the virsh-edit command. And it's also, I will provide you something and present you something on the screen. cd etc, it will be easier to explain this. etc libvirt QEMU, right? And if I will list it, you can see we have two XML files, Debian direct1 and direct2. And if we will edit, for example, Debian direct1, you can see above the warning. This is an auto-generated file, and changes to it are likely to be overwritten and lost. Changes to this XML configuration should be made using virsh-edit Debian direct1, in this case, because it's from the direct1 machine, or other application using the libvirt API. So that is why we are using the virsh-edit command instead of editing the XML file directly. And however, what you can do, actually, you can view the configuration file when the machine is running. And what you can see here, what is interesting, you can see MAC address. If you will delete it, it will be added again in this place. But see this, In the beginning, we had that virtual port open vSwitch and there was a slash, and now we have a parameters interface and a virtual port. And let's see, it's 1B80, and we will check the same for the direct2 XML file, and you can see this parameter is different, right? So you don't have to worry, and all you have to do, you need to add only this with the slash at the end, as I presented, and you can see those two lines were added and it was modified the way it is working correctly. So thanks to this, we informed the libvirt, the daemon, about the change, and it was able to start machines using the configuration file, and change took effect, right? So thanks this, because we are using the virtual bridge, so OVS VSCTL. So you can see bridge BRX and port VNet, and you can see this is in use, and I will, and VNet 0, and if I will try to clear, and once again, okay, this and IPA and IPR, and see the difference. When machines are running, for each machine, for each virtual machine, something like virtual network is created, I mean virtual adapter, right? And thanks this, because we informed through the XML file the libvirt daemon that we are using a virtual bridge, so it's able to translate properly addresses. We have a full network address translation, and we are able to ping each other. So you are curious, is it the ping working also for the outside? So I will try to Control B, something like this, and ping, I don't know, BBC CO UK, something like that. It should work, and you can see it's working. So we have an option to get into the world. So that's the way we can make it work, and this is something crucial to understand, that if you did an installation using the old, I mean not the old, using the direct type, and you cannot ping the virtual machines between each other and the host, so you can fix it this way, and you can tell the libvirt daemon to use the bridge for the traffic, right? And you know, this is very, very, very important, because this is something that you need to understand why it is working this way. It's just because if you have a open vSwitch, you need to configure it this way. And of course, I will record a separate video about the proper installation of the virtual machine using a proper configuration for the network section. And thanks to this, you will be able to install the operating system the right way without worrying about anything. And, you know, after the installation, it will work just like that. For now, that is all about this. So now you know how to fix the issue by editing the XML configuration of the virtual machine. And thanks to this, you can fix the problem on your own. So let's see in next video about a proper installation of virtual machines using a proper network flag actually, and I will also present you the 3 methods I promised: the installation through the ISO image, through the network, directly from the network, and using a URL, and using a virtual builder. And you will see that this method is really impressive, right? So thank you very much. Have a nice day or night. Take care. Bye bye.